Show us
Uh,
the world of cannabis, because whenever you talk about cannabis, your eyes just lit up, your energy shift.
yeah, so I'll try to keep it short, but very early on, I discovered I was allergic to alcohol. So when we were 13, 14, 15-year-olds, sneaking beers from our parents' house or refrigerators and drinking beers, like my friends would always get drunk and I would always throw up. And as you can imagine, when you start college and you don't drink, fitting in socially is very difficult. I started consuming cannabis about, I would say, halfway through the year. I went through the first half just going, okay, like I don't drink, no big deal. I don't do any other intoxicants, no big deal either. But about halfway through the year, I was thinking, man, this college experience really isn't like everyone seems to be having a different experience than me because on the weekends, just partying all out and getting drunk and having fun. And finally, I decided to try cannabis. And once I consumed it, I had tried it many times in high school, but usually through the joint format. But I tried it through a bong and I was able to bring all of the medicine deep into my lungs. And when I exhaled, I had this relaxing feeling, one that I really didn't have previously in my life. And slowly, like the everything just seemed to melt away in that I was very protective about my image. I was the smallest kid growing up in virtually every class. And I knew that I was a pretty smart kid. So I would always kind of use my mental acumen to try to put myself into some sort of advantageous position, whether it was trying to be the smartest guy in the room or trying to mansplain all these things to people in my dorm room. And it was funny. After I consumed cannabis and I started talking, I was able to actually hear myself from the third person for the very first time and observe myself to my at least what seemed objectively to me at the time. And I was like, wow, this guy is really annoying. He thinks he's really smart. He thinks he's super charming, but he's really just turning everyone off. And for the first time, instead of just being in my head talking, I started looking at everyone's like reactions to what I was saying. And I could see the girls' like eyes just glaze over, like they weren't interested in hearing what I was saying. And it made me really self-conscious and much more self-aware. And even though it was like a negative feeling at the time, that level of self-awareness I found to be very intoxicating. And I wanted to explore more of, hey, like that happened the first time. Yeah, it wasn't like the best experience in that I started seeing different areas where I was lacking, like kind of emotional growth. But I still wanted to see all those things. And that's actually what started my relationship with cannabis. And ultimately, I knew that the smoke wasn't good for your lungs. But this was back in 1994. And the initial research was starting to show like this was indeed a medicine. And so my curiosity was piqued in that, hey, I tried something that really expanded my mind. There is quantitative data that is supporting this now, but smoking it really, there was no other medicine that I've ever taken in my life where I had to smoke it. That started just turning the wheels in my head. Hey, if there was a healthier delivery methodology, then maybe we could take two steps forward without taking one step back.